Today I want to talk to you about how ignorance can cost you thousands of dollars. So what happened for me was I had filed for divorce from my husband, and we were going to court. And I was young and naive. I was 25. He was 35, and I guess I didn't even stop and think about it. I just thought that we would go to court and the judge would order what was fair. But I didn't do my research, and I didn't really sit down and think about it. That I didn't think about what could possibly happen when you go to court. And so ignorance can really cost you. I mean, I'm talking about thousands of dollars for a long time. Things will take longer when you don't know and you don't ask anybody. And so what I should have did my research. I should have asked questions. I should have been thinking about the worst case scenario. I should have been thinking about myself and my children. And so here I was, 25 years old, single, 3 children, going to court, thinking that I was filing for child support, and I was doing what I thought was fair. I didn't have any malicious intent. I just thought he was my husband. These were his children, that he should help take care of those kids. But I didn't realize that, he was really, for him, this divorce was battle. We were about to go to war. And I came unprepared, right? Because I wasn't thinking about what could possibly happen. And so I want you to think about this for yourself. How much is ignorance costing you? How much is the things that you don't know costing you? And what do you need to do about it in the future? So is it research? Is it asking for help? What is it that you need to do to help yourself? And so a lot of us walk around blind, not thinking about what's the worst case scenario. What do I need to be prepared for? Do I need to do research? Do I need to ask somebody for help? But I went to court thinking that we were going for child support court, and there was my husband at that time. He had gotten an attorney, and I had a public defender. He paid for an attorney, and I had a public defender. Nothing against public defenders. However, they are overworked, they're underpaid, sometimes they don't have your best interest at heart. Sometimes they don't have any interest. They just want to get this case done. And so in this case, this was what happened to me. And so if I had known better, and in hindsight, I tell anybody, if you're going to go to court, get an attorney. Just pay the money, get an attorney. Don't try to be cheap. Don't get an attorney. Be prepared. Know what it is that you want, what your expectations is, what is it that you need. And so all I wanted was to get child support for my children. And so when he brought an attorney, they had considered every scenario. And so what happens when you have an attorney is an attorney can help you have a strategy. They help you think about everything. They had already considered visitation, taxes, over 20 years. They were thinking about how was he going to file taxes for claiming one of the kids. There were so many things that an attorney helped, and that's what I love about a coach or a consultant, is that they help you prepare. They help you get a strategy. They help you think about things in a different way. So we have our blind spots. We're not thinking about it. We miss out on things. It takes us years. And so because of that, because I didn't have an attorney, I lost out on thousands of dollars that day, because I should have been speaking up for myself. And so when I was asking the public defender about the things that they were saying, and she wasn't saying anything. She was saying, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And so for me, I'm thinking this is my children's future that I'm concerned about. And so it cost me thousands of dollars in ignorance, because I didn't know. I didn't think about it. I didn't think to ask anybody. I didn't know that this was going to happen. I thought we were 2 adults who, could go work this out with no problem. And so just think about that for yourself. Think about your future. Think about what you're doing. Think about how you're doing it. And think about when you're not clear, when you don't think about things, it takes you longer. It costs you more in the long run. Be prepared for battle when you're going into a situation. Learn all you can. Know what you need to know before you go into a situation. And if you got to pay for an attorney, pay for an attorney. Don't skip on the attorney, because it will cost you more in the long run. I learned in this to learn all you can, to speak up for yourself. So I should have just spoke directly to the judge. Even if he would have said, I couldn't talk directly to him, I still should have spoken for myself, because nobody was there to advocate for me that day. And so here I am, 25 years old. I tell anybody, you got to ask for help, because there's a lot of things that you don't know. And even though at 25 you think you know everything, you don't. And there are people who have, it's kind of like, it's so logical now, right? I'm about to be 50, and I think about, okay, I'm at 50 years old. I know a lot more than I did at 25. I've lived life, right? I've had some, not that I know everything, but I've had some experiences, and I could tell people what I've been through based on what I've been through. And so now I get it when the older people, the grandmothers, the great grandmothers, the great great grandmothers, when they tell us things, it's not because they know it all. It's not that they're trying to tell us how to run our lives. It's because they've experienced something and they've seen how things went for them, or they've experienced things through other people over and over again. So there's been a pattern. So they know how things could possibly turn out, and so they just try to tell you what's best. And so I have learned that the older people are some of the smartest people as far as life is concerned, because they've experienced it. And so it's nothing like somebody going through something and being able to tell you how to maneuver it. It's up to you to take the advice or not. But one thing we have to do is really consider what they're saying to us. Is there some truth in there? Is there something that we can learn from it that maybe we didn't know? One of the things I thought about is you really got to think about how to protect yourself. So sometimes we don't think about things until in hindsight, right? But you got to be thinking about, how do I protect myself? What is it I need for myself? And so for me that day, it was getting child support, getting support, financial support for my children. And so I didn't think about protecting myself would have been getting an attorney who was going to speak on my behalf, who their job in that hour was to protect me, who was to make sure that these little kids was taken care of, that their mother didn't have to struggle unnecessarily because their dad didn't provide financial support. When you hire an expert, be willing to pay the value that they provide. Be willing to pay for it. They have an expertise that you don't have. And so while you're thinking initially it costs thousands of dollars, it could cost you tens of thousands of dollars over the years. And so just something to be thinking about today for yourself is, are you being cheap on certain things? Is there ignorance in certain areas that you need to ask for help, that you need to get help? If you do it today. Don't put it off. And so just really important, really something really important to be thinking about. And so if you like personal development or professional development content, you can go to my website, shondamiles.com, and sign up for the personal growth newsletter or personal growth checklist, and you will receive daily content that I'm putting out all over social media. Also, you can sign up for the How to Become Unstoppable Challenge, 5-day challenge in August. So I hope to see you there.